at that 7 o'clock hour, you guys, and while folks are still joining us, I want to thank you all for being in this space with us tonight. So excited to begin this journey, to have critical conversations with Generation Z and Millennials. And while I am one who generally talks tonight, I'm excited to have young people in this space who will join us to begin this conversation, a critical conversation about continuing the movement to educate around human trafficking. So my name is DeAndre Marshall, and I'm the Director of Training and Programs for the International Human Trafficking Institute. I like to give a cheap plug for our parent company, which is the National Center for Civil and Human Rights. It's located in downtown Atlanta, right next to the Coca-Cola building, and they are open and social distancing. So if you need a space to go and just kind of hang out and gain additional education and information, that would be a place to go and visit. So I wanted to just share a little bit about who I am and why we're having this conversation. I have been doing this work now for over 20 years off and on, which a lot of times I say it's 19 years too long, because this should be something that should have been eradicated long ago. But what we do know is that this is about big business and this is about big money. And that's the reason why it does not go away. But in the meantime, while it's not going away, it behooves all of us to have the information we need to protect our children and our youth and our young people so that not one person is exploited for either labor or sex trafficking. When I started doing this work over 20 years ago, I worked in the first home for girls who, at that time, they were saying that they were prostituted. Of course, since that time, the laws have changed. And so no child under the age of 18 can ever be a prostitute because they are being exploited and not prostituted. But what we've done is decided to bring together a group of young people, and this is primarily in the city of Atlanta, and that's like the outskirts as well. So it's not just the city of Atlanta, but it's hopefully will be a movement within the state of Georgia for our young people to come together and have conversations about what they can do to continue this movement. Um, so now I am excited tonight that those of you who have joined us already are in this space. And I want to take this time to introduce our moderator for this evening. So the way that we're going to set this up is that we're going to make sure that our young people are ready to have these conversations and ready to lead these conversations. And so I've invited a young lady who is not only knowledgeable, but articulate and well versed in that. She is a radio personality, and I was excited to see that when I met her and read her bio. Her name is Destiny DeJanae Martin. She's a recent graduate of Georgia, the University of Georgia, and she didn't just get one degree, y'all. She has two degrees. She has a dual degree in criminal justice and psychology, and so we know that with those two degrees, then she has a sense of urgency around what we're talking about. The other thing that I would like to say, besides DJ Destiny being an air personality, is that she is steeped in the word. So for some of us that may be a little bit uncomfortable, but for those of us who walk by faith and not by sight, then we know that that's how Destiny is approaching this work that she's going to do with us. She is a minister, a youth minister, and a mentor. And the other thing about Destiny is she has the ability to create positive energy, not only with those of her own age, but with those that she comes in contact with. We've been talking now for a couple of weeks about how we wanted to roll this out. And I'm very confident that Destiny can help shepherd us through this process. So what we're going to do now is turn this over to Destiny. She may give you a couple of other ideas about who she is and what she brings to this conversation. She will be our moderator for tonight. And Destiny, will you take this time and find out who's in the room with us tonight and get them to introduce themselves? And I'm going to go silent.
Yes. Well, since she already told y'all I am a radio personality. Now I got to bring it to you. So I am Destiny Dejanay, woot woot, and I'm just so glad to be here. Thank you so much, Miss Marshall, for inviting me. Thank you, everyone, for answering the call to join us to spread awareness to everyone and to combat human trafficking. I am a Melanin Queen, and I'm one of the founders of Melanin Queens Foundation for Change. I'm also a mentor with First Ladies Youth Leadership Foundation, and I do a lot of other stuff. I co-host 2 radio shows, and I'm at church, like Miss Marshall said. And I love to connect with people. I love to invite people to my radio show as well to bring awareness to whatever issues we are struggling with in our communities, just to promote positive change. So that's what we are doing today. I would love to hear more about everyone who is on the call today. So I'm going to call your name out, and we're going to start with Joshua, since you was the first one to join me and Miss Marshall today. Just tell us your name and tell us what brings you to the conversation today and what passion fuels you for spreading awareness to human trafficking, please.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. My name is Joshua Washington, and I'm 17 years old, and I'm actually in the state of Florida right now. And really, my passion that brings me here today is personally my testimony as a person who once looked down on other people, and you actually use others as a way for me to gain pleasure. I'm pretty much just now compelled after experiencing life transformation by God to stand up for those people who are being victimized, mistreated, abused, and ultimately taken out of their will. But that's my reason for being here.
Wow, that's powerful. We're thankful and grateful for the transformation. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, and I think the next person was Kim Washington to join. Would you like to tell us who you are, what brings you to the conversation today, and what passion fuels you for spreading awareness and combating human trafficking?
Sure, no problem. My name is Kim Washington, and I am the mother of Joshua Washington. So I'm here partially to support him. Hi there, Ms. Marshall. I'm here as a support mechanism for him. But in addition to that, I have about 20 years working in social services. Human trafficking has been a big area that I did some work in as well when I worked for the Division of Family and Children Services in Georgia. I remember Angela's house, Ms. Marshall. I remember Angela's house as being one of the first houses that was created to help house those who have been victimized. And so, yeah, so I have an interest just all around and as who I am. And of course, I want to support my son, support the cause, and, you know, just glad to be in a space too where we are also all just lovers of God. So that makes me even more happy to be here.
Yes, God is time. Yes, and I love the layers of our different generations and the age groups. So that's perfect. So yeah, so we'll move on. I think Miss Amina joined in next too. Would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, what brings you to the conversation today, what passion fuels you for spreading awareness and combating human trafficking?
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Amina Matthews. I am also one of the co-founders of the Melanin Queens Foundation for Change. So I've had the pleasure of knowing Destiny for a very long time and know that she's going to definitely lead our group very well. But what brings me here is mostly awareness for myself and for others. I think there's a lot of things about human trafficking that even I don't know. And it's important to be educated and also to not take for granted it's kind of like the sense of security and safety that you feel like you have because you're not maybe surrounded by that kind of information all the time, or you don't feel like it would happen to you. And so working with Miss Marshall from one of the presentations she gave us about like a few months ago was definitely a good insight. And so I just wanted to continue that and to be able to spread it to other people so that I can keep my friends and family safe and our community safe. So that's pretty much the main reason.
Awesome. The more the merrier. Thank you for joining us, Amina. And if we can have Tatiana, and next time we have a meeting, I'm going to be like, when we do the introductions, I would love to see y'all's faces just so everyone can put a face to the names. But since I didn't mention it in the beginning, y'all are totally fine for today. But yes, Miss Tatiana, thank you for joining. Would you like to tell us who you are and what brings you to the conversation and what passion fuels you in combating human trafficking and bringing awareness?
Hi, thank you for inviting me, Destiny. What brought me here? Well, my name is Tatiana Aaliyah. I am a student, a lifetime student, a cancer survivor, lupus battler, and a entrepreneur. What really?
You're on mute.
Okay, because she reached out, and honestly, I have to be honest, I saw a movie. I was watching a movie on Netflix just yesterday about it was like about human trafficking, and I didn't realize, and I've been seeing so many young people go missing, especially on social media. My brain wants to be like, oh, this isn't a thing, or they're going to be found, and then I put it away. But I'm watching all of like these movies and hearing from you guys, and it's just like, no, this is a problem. And I also have a niece. I have family. I'm 24 years old, and I'm always here and I'm always there. I'm traveling without my family. And it's like, I could be a victim. Like, honestly, I draw attention where I go. So it's just like, I want to know what are the signs, or I want to know, even like, I just want to be more informed, because I feel like there's nothing out there to inform us. There's just, oh, we found 150 people or 150 kids at this house, and they're being trafficked. But that's something I see on social media. They don't post this anywhere.
Yes, agreed. I definitely can relate to, I was kind of, when I studied human trafficking, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the target age range when I was in college. But then I graduated. I'm like, oh, I'm moving out of it. But no, I'm still in the target age range as well. So it can happen to anyone. That was a great point. And men and women, boys and girls. So you're right. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Yes, we have another person on the line with a phone number. I don't see a name for 75749. If you would like to tell us who you are, what brings you to the conversation today, and what passion fuels you for combating human trafficking and spreading awareness. We can't hear you if you're speaking. I see your mic is unmuted. Anybody recognize that phone number?
Yes, I do. It's Kim. This is Kim Washington. Yes, I do. I think that is Joshua's grandmother. I think that's who's on the line. I think she's
I get it.
Okay.
Yes,
That's fine.
Yes, she wants to also just be here to support him in all of his endeavors. Yes.
We get it. We get it.
I got a comment for you, grandmother. It's great that you're on the line too. Because like I said, all ages need to spread awareness. And what I've realized in my community growing up, a lot of my cousins, siblings, and people I hang around, the younger kids are raised by their grandmothers sometime. So it's great that we will have grandmothers on the line so they can know what to look out for their grandchildren when their parents are at work or absent in the family. So I love that. That is awesome. I think that is everyone on the lines right now. I know a couple people might join later, but I guess we can move back to you, Miss Marshall. And I know we got a video coming up.
I think you're on mute, Miss Marshall.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I was listening to Tatiana talk about not knowing or seeing those signs. And so we actually have a description that we generally play when we do our PowerPoint presentations, our trainings. But I want you guys to listen closely because we want to talk a little bit about this. Destiny is going to, just kind of enhance this conversation, but we're going to talk a little bit about this and what is human trafficking. So just see if you see some things or hear some things that prick your consciousness about what's going on in the world we're living in. Take a listen.
What is human trafficking? Human trafficking is modern-day slavery. It is the exploitation of a person through force, fraud, or coercion. Human smuggling and human trafficking are different crimes. Human smuggling is the illegal movement of someone across a border. Human trafficking is the illegal exploitation of a person. Human trafficking is about exploitation, not transportation. Human trafficking is a highly profitable crime and a violation of human rights. It occurs in every part of the world, including here in the United States. It happens in our big cities, our suburbs, even in rural towns. It can happen to anyone. Human trafficking victims can be US citizens or from other countries. Victims can be any age, race, or gender. But one thing they share is that they are vulnerable to being exploited. There are different types of human trafficking, including sex trafficking, forced labor, and domestic servitude. Sex trafficking victims are manipulated or forced against their will to engage in sex acts for money. Sex traffickers might use violence, threats, manipulation, or the promise of love and affection to lure victims. Truck stops, hotel rooms, rest areas, street corners, clubs, private residences. These are just some of the places where victims are forced to sell sex. Any person under the age of 18 involved in a commercial sex act is considered a victim of human trafficking. No exceptions. Forced labor takes on many forms, and it happens here in the US and overseas. Through force, fraud, or coercion, victims are made to work for little or no pay. Very often, these victims are forced to manufacture or grow the products that we use and consume every day. Victims of forced labor can be found in factories, on farms, doing construction work, and more. Victims of domestic servitude are hidden in plain sight, forced to work in homes across the United States. Their traffickers sometimes take their identification papers and travel documents in order to limit their freedom. They are prisoners, working as nannies, maids, or domestic help. Every year in the United States, thousands of human trafficking cases are reported, but many more go unnoticed. That's because human trafficking is a hidden crime. Victims might be afraid to come forward, or we may not recognize the signs, even if it's happening right in front of us. We need to bring this crime out of the shadows. That's why the Department of Homeland Security created the Blue Campaign, to take a stand against modern-day slavery and help combat this heinous crime by raising awareness of human trafficking around the country.
So that's the definition, the working definition that we use as far as human trafficking is concerned, to help people understand what this is and what is not. So Destiny, let me just take liberty just a second and just talk about the fact that this is not about the white van situation. And I don't know if any of you all have heard about the white van and people snatching up, girls and putting them in the back of a van. What you just heard is something that happens every day and really could be happening in our own community. So Destiny, let's see if anyone has any other, questions about what they just heard about human trafficking.
Yes, one major point I wanted to make is I hear a lot when we mention human trafficking, some people might only think of sex work, but the video was very explicit about labor trafficking. So under human trafficking, there's labor trafficking, domestic trafficking, and sex trafficking. So did anyone have any questions or comments or anything interesting stuck out about the video?
Yeah, I think that just provided just a lot of insight as far as what that is. And I think that's going to be a really helpful information to use, even as we go out and share with other people. But I think I did have just one question on that. And I think you're going to get to this, but I think would sugaring be a part of human trafficking, or would that be something that is rather associated with human trafficking?
So it falls under the association of it. Destiny, do you know enough about that to talk about it, or do I need to answer that question?
So I'm never too old to learn. So I'm gonna say what my answer gonna be, and then Ms. Marshall's gonna correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
But
go right ahead.
For sugaring, that reminds me of like the sugar babies and the sugar daddies. Yeah. So if the victim was under the age of 18 and is participating in sugaring, and it has to do with sex and money or work and money, and they're under the age of 18, it automatically is human trafficking because minors are not able to consent. If it is an adult, then the lines are kind of blurred, but they can still be a human traffic victim, or they could be willingly doing it. But yes, sugaring could fall under human trafficking if it is a minor. What do you think? Or what is the correct answer?
No, you're right on that pathway, and that is correct. And I think in the video, it did talk a little bit about kids under the age of 18. And I know I stated that earlier when we were talking that they cannot be considered prostitutes, or cannot, anything with them under the age of 18 is exploitation. So exploitation is illegal, and people who are exploiting kids can be arrested for that. So I want to address Tatiana because she made a comment in the chat box. Let me go back to it so I can make sure so Tatiana says sugaring is usually those over 18 and it is voluntary. What do we do if we find someone sugaring but is under the age of 18? So listen, Tatiana, I have had parents and grandparents call me because their kids have gotten caught up in sugaring and they are under the age of 18. So these sites are not, they are not using the precautions that they need to use, because yes, this is voluntary. I think you did say that. Yes, it is voluntary that people are involved in this. But these young people who are doing this under the age of 18, they're being exploited. So this is the same way with OnlyFans. You guys know about OnlyFans. So Destiny's going to ask you about subjects that you guys want to talk about going forward at the end of this. But yeah, so Joshua, to go back to your question about sugaring, if that young person is under the age of 18, it's still exploitation.
Gotcha. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, so Destiny, you want to continue on, and was it anything else?
Yes, did anyone else have any comments or questions about the video? Okay, if you do, just let me know at any point. We just don't want to keep y'all way too long, so we just gonna keep it pushing. Then we have plenty of questions as I'm still going along. You can interrupt me, it's cool, I'm cool. So purpose of critical conversation. So the video was talking about why it's critical, and I wanted to expound on why it's critical. So human trafficking is modern day slavery. Have y'all heard that term before? You can be like, thumbs up, head nods. Yes, it's modern day slavery. So yes, it occurs across borders, across the seas, airports, all of that. And it also happens between our cities. So you can traffic people through different state lines as well. So we don't have to think of it as just so much broad. We can think of it as happening right here in our state of Georgia and in Alabama, Mississippi, and so forth. So the demand for human trafficking is extremely high, and victims can be used over and over again. So that's how they get so much money. Like drugs, food, and whatever else is disposable. After you eat it and consume it, it's done. You got to get more. But with the human body, you can keep reusing it. So the demand is so high, the supply is high, and they are making so much money off of victims, and it is very sad. So people actually die from human trafficking as well. Labor, work, forced and undesirable working conditions and starvation, and you can die from that. And as well as being sexually abused over and over again. Some of them have like STDs and diseases and stuff that aren't properly cured because they are exploited, and they can die from that. So there's not enough law enforcement on human trafficking, because sometimes it is instead labeled as like sexual abuse or prostitution or gang violence, instead of strictly labeling it as human trafficking. For an example, prostitution. Some teenagers or adults, young adults, might get caught in the act during a sting or a bust, or someone reports suspicion, and the victim might get labeled as a prostitute and actually goes to jail. But that victim very well is a victim and should not be in jail. So I'm not going to expand too much more on that, but this is why it's critical for us to spread awareness, because it's overlooked and it's hidden, and the victims are hidden, and we need to rescue them and help them. So those are some of my critical points to why this conversation is relevant. I also want to say this can happen to anyone. We already mentioned that. No gender, there's no gender restrictions or no race restrictions, barely any age restrictions. And there are hidden victims and there are hidden predators. So in the media, when I research crimes about human trafficking, I do see a lot of Black people or a lot of poor or low socioeconomic status people being perpetrated as the main predators, but also the hidden predators are white collar officials as well, athletes and sports owners as well, political figures, and so on and so forth. So it's not just low socioeconomic people that are experiencing this as victims and perpetrators, it's also on the higher tiers of socioeconomic status as well. And I think that's all I have for my critical points.
So one of the things that I wanted to add to what Destiny said, and just want you guys to walk away with this, is that, you know, at the point of the pandemic, we had met with the school systems because we really wanted to have this training in, you know, in the schools like DeKalb County, APS, Fulton County, you know, all of the counties that make up, you know, the major part of Georgia. And what we heard from them was also sad, is that they know that they have high school students that are leaving school via Uber to go up to the north side of Atlanta to participate in activities, you know, with responding to their traffickers. So, you know, we were at the point of having those conversations, and, you know, the city was shut down. And so, you know, when we talk about the purpose of these critical conversations, you know, we have a few people on tonight, but, you know, as Destiny and I were talking at the beginning, our goal is to grow this through the summer so that we create a movement that we are impacting other young people, Generation Z and millennials. So Destiny and I are committed. I know Joshua is committed to, to helping us with this. Amina joined us on the front end. Tatiana, glad to have you in this space. But the thing is that, we have to create this movement. And the way that we do this is by, making and, having an invitation to invite others. So at the end of this conversation, Destiny's going to actually talk a little bit more about that. But that's the reason, that's the purpose for the critical conversations. And so, Destiny, you can take it over from here to go to the ways that human trafficking is affecting, Generation Z and millennials. And we'll just stay there for a few minutes to talk about that as well.
Yes. So as I talked about hidden predators, I also wanted to make note of more hidden victims. So I mentioned prostitutes are hidden victims, and foster kids and mentally ill people and people who suffer from substance abuse are also hidden victims as well. They're locked up in the systems, but they actually need help and treatment. So now we're going to move on to ways human trafficking affects youth and young adults. And this is where everybody's going to chime in. When you first think about human trafficking, do you have any stories that you've seen on the news, that you've seen on social media? Do you know anyone in your family, friend group, or back at school that it has affected? I want to hear from you all.
Well, I personally haven't known somebody that has been affected by it, but I have heard like stories on the news of how, especially like young children were affected, whether they were literally on a plane and they were being they were with a actual trafficker, and how that child was, I remember the story, the child was wrote in the bathroom that she needed help. And one of the crew members noticed it, and they were able to, save her from that. And then I remember hearing like another story about a young boy who had literally been on his way. And I think you had shared this with me, Miss Marshall, on one of your other conversations that you had. But it was a boy who was on his way to a older man or somebody that wanted to see him, and he was driving in the car. But luckily, a police officer, an authority figure, was able to stop him. So that was good news.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of interest that just go online and look at the different stories, because it's out there. It's out there. And I wanted to make note of Tatiana. You asked a question in the group about mentorship programs. Well, me and Amina and Ms. Marshall have some, we have hands in different mentorship programs where we have brought human trafficking awareness training to First Ladies Youth Leadership Foundation. So all of the ladies that were able, the young girls and us mentors that were able to tune in for the whole hour training, we have a certification or certificate to show that we are, promoting and spreading awareness and we're knowledgeable about what's going on. So that was a great question. We can definitely look into doing that this summer, having a panel that's strictly for if you want a certificate about human trafficking awareness and knowledge.
Yes, that would be great. I'm actually within my business, I am starting a philanthropy business, and it's called 9 Lives. And one of our focuses is to mentor 9 women, or 9 young girls, pair them with 9 affluent women, and to uplift them to be the best that they can be. And honestly, I kind of don't know where to start. I've had mentors. I've kind of been a mentor. I've been a mentor for people through social media and all this stuff. And of course, Destiny and Mina, y'all know how my style goes. So I believe that style and is a really, really key way for us to reach these people. I mean, reach these young girls, because I mean, a lot of them are looking on social media to have, you know, some sort of like they're comparing themselves, and social media might say, because I know right now on TikTok, Joshua mentioned sugaring. Sugaring is that's a whole different topic, but like sometimes TikTok can influence these younger people to get into that, and it's not for it's just it's if you don't have a background or people that are supporting you, that it is telling you, you know, yes, yes, thank you, Miss DeAndrea. But if you don't have people telling you like, no, that's not okay, you don't know how to represent yourself through your dress. You don't know how to just a lot. So I would love to connect with that organization, because I'm ready.
Wow. So I always say that meetings are divinely inspired by God. I know we all mentioned God a couple times probably on here. But yes, if you answered the call, it was for a reason. So I just love the energy. Thank you all who have been participating. We're still going to keep talking and hear words from everybody, but it's definitely divine. And I would love to join and help out with your 9 lives or 9 style. I follow you on Instagram. So I definitely love to help out with that. Thank you for offering your platform and your style and your business and all of that to be a part of spreading awareness, especially I know Miss Marshall's super excited because she's like, you young folks need to help get attention for the younger ones. So style, like you said, style is really going to captivate them. And I was going to save this, but it's a little secret, but I'm gonna go ahead and expose it. So I wanted to do a fashion show to raise awareness on human trafficking. So as soon as you said that, we can put on a fashion show. That's gonna really get us, involved in spreading awareness. And we can have young models too, like the kid models, middle schoolers, elementary schoolers, high schoolers as well. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
We still have enough time for everyone to say something too, but I wanted to make another note because Tatiana mentioned TikTok, and that's something Ms. Marshall wanted me to emphasize. TikTok, okay, so some videos on TikTok have been used and put on pornographic sites. So even if it's innocent dancing on TikTok, some people are pulling those videos and using it for exploitation and pornography. And you would probably never know that your videos are being used unless you just went to a porn site and saw it. But yes, definitely raising awareness to the young children who use TikTok. I don't use it, but we thought about implementing it in our mentorship program. But if we know that our cousins, siblings, or whoever is using TikTok, we can use that platform to spread awareness. They do PSAs on TikToks, and they give us so much information about voting, all this stuff. We can do that. So if you love TikTok, put it in the comments so I can make note that you love TikTok, and then we can connect so I can know what ways, creative ideas you have to spread awareness on TikTok. Yes, and then I'll open it up for anyone else who has not commented on ways human trafficking affects youth and young adults. Have you seen it on TV, movies? Do you know anyone? Do you have, yeah. It's okay.
This is Kim Washington, and I said, yes, I do. Not necessarily personally, but when I did some work with Georgia's Division of Family and Children Services, there is a lot of, especially young girls who ran away from foster homes or ran away from residential facilities, that we had to really just help to find as many resources and help with possibly reuniting back with families. So there were definitely a lot of young people who, and this is more on the sexual exploitation side of things, that we did assist with. And it became a big thing, which Ms. Marshall, I'm sure you're aware of too, just around, is this a child welfare issue? Is this a juvenile justice issue? Is this and it went round, around. But then So yeah, so I kind of had some interaction with some of the girls and boys, and try to help just to develop different resources or ways to help as much as we could. But just overall, I mean, first I want to say I'm just so excited that we're talking about this subject. I'm so excited about the target population that you're trying to pull into, because you know, teens listen to teens more than they listen to anybody else. And this is just the right format to be able to just have more teens, to reach out to more teens. And even as you were saying, Destiny, about having, you know, a fashion show so we can get to that next of young adult generation, you know, this is just really a good topic to talk about. But yes, I've had some interaction with some who have been victimized by human trafficking.
Right. Yeah, it's a process for them to get healing and recovery too. So that's why it's so important when we rescue them or help them. We can also talk about rehabilitation and ways that we can be of help to those who are the victims. But thank you for that, Ms. Kim. And the Washington grandmother, if you had any words, you can interject whenever you want.
She's probably going to remain a little quiet, I think,
Okay.
and just trying to also manage the technology part of things.
Okay.
So she said, I'll probably just listen because the technology part might become a little overwhelming, but she just wants to listen, which is good. You know, like I said, want to support Joshua, and I'm sure she's learning a whole lot.
So Destiny, I want to chime in, you know, where Joshua, two things, Joshua, and then with Joshua's grandmother being on the line. And I know she probably can recall back in the day, because I mean, I know when I was in high school and college, you know, girls would talk about they wanted to have an older man, you know, so you know, it's really things are not ever really new.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just a situation that it just reinvents itself, because the way that this is similar to the way it was when I was growing up, but that it has taken on, just like she's talking about, you know, the technology part of this.
Mm-hmm.
This thing has couched itself in a different means. And so
Right.
it's not like it's anything new. It's just that the technology has been added to it. The people have become smarter. It's more money involved in it, you know, and girls are still naive, guys are still naive. And, you know, it wasn't so much when I was growing up, guys weren't really involved in this like it is now. You know, it has crossed over, and so everyone is however people can make money and take advantage of people, you know. So for his grandmother being on the line, I'm sure, you know, when she heard sugaring, she didn't know what that sugaring terminology meant, but when you break it out and say a sugar daddy, I mean, that's just, it's a vicious cycle that just, you know, just keeps happening. And one of the things that I want to do is compliment Joshua for being in this space tonight, because even though he's the only male person here, he has friends that are males. And so the thing is that he can be a positive influence on his male friends. And, you know, the messages and the things that he's hearing this evening, he can definitely go back and share and say, hey, bro, did you listen? This is what I heard when I was on this Zoom, you know, and did you know this? And so, you know, I just wanted to stop and appreciate him for being here. We had two other guys who were supposed to be here tonight. Not sure why they didn't show up, but I'm enjoying the intimacy of this space right now, because my vision is for this to grow where we won't be able to have it like this. You know, everybody won't be able to talk, you know, so yeah, but thank you, Joshua, for, you know, being a participant and being here for the conversation tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So Destiny, Amina, did you have anything to say about the effects? I think she was the last one, right?
Yeah, I was the last one. And to the question about experience, I don't know anyone personally. And unfortunately, I haven't really been exposed to a lot of information as far as cases of human trafficking. But like Destiny said, the information is out there, but the sad thing about it is that you have to go searching for it. Most of the time, I think it's not prevalent enough. But one ways that I have come in contact with cases and being aware is through like Facebook groups. So usually people will find a story, especially if it's in our area, and then Facebook group a bunch of women. So then like my mom, like my aunt will find out, and my aunt will tell my mom, and my mom will tell me. And I think that is one really good way for us to continue to expound upon and to be using each other as a lifeline to spread this information.
Very good.
Yes.
So Destiny, let me just interject here. There's a girl missing in Marietta right now. And not to say that she has, someone has, gotten her into a traffic ring, but Amina, to your point, her mom has put out, some flyers and things on Facebook, saying that she's missing. And
Yeah.
she's been gone now about a week.
Wow. Social media definitely can be a place where we can help the situation as well. Yeah, it's used for evil, but we can always use it for good. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Right. And even if you can create like a precedence of whenever we get this kind of information, like a flyer, that you automatically send it to 5 women and then that way, and those women send it to 5 women they know, so that we can continue to spread it.
Yeah, she's jumping over into your next area, Destiny.
All right. And so we were just talking about ways human trafficking affects youth and young adults. So I wanted to mention, we talked about TikTok and porn, and then OnlyFans. That is another way that young people are exposed to it. They think that they're in control of their account and their videos, but some predators are actually recording their videos, their pictures, and everything that they're putting on their OnlyFans. The predator is using that and then selling it or blackmailing them, all of that. So that is another way that human trafficking happens. Sexting. Oh yeah, we're about to move on, but sexting as well. So us that have younger siblings, we should be checking their phones, because we need to make sure that they know that the dangers of sexting, because you can actually go to jail with a felony or misdemeanor or both with sexting, sending pictures, even at young ages. If you're a minor, you can get in trouble for that. And then obviously if they're sexting someone who is an adult, that adult is now entered human trafficking or sexual exploitation. So that was another point of awareness, or ways that youth are affected. Yes. Okay. So now we can move to ways to engage other youth and young adults. So Amina, you brought up a great point about inviting other people. So we decided that we're going to do these Zoom calls once a month, every last Thursday of the month. So what we would love for you all to do is bring a +2 or +5 like Amina. So I wasn't going to give them like too much homework by saying the +5. Okay, Miss Marshall says +5. So we want you to bring a +5 to the Zoom call next month. And that is exactly what Amina says. Even when we post the flyer, when we send you out the invite flyer, send it to 5 more people. And then the day of, when you're getting ready, go ahead and text those 5 people and say, hey, reminder, I'm about to jump online. Are you? They're going, oh my gosh, I forgot about it. So those reminders are always great. So like I said, I want to hear from you all. What are other ways to engage other youth? We talked about fashion shows, social media, Facebook. What other creative ideas do y'all have for the youth?
Well, I know because I'm involved with Teen Church at Elizabeth Baptist Church. So I don't know, and I know you did one of the conversations, on one of the teen churches. So I think if we can continue that, maybe that could be another idea.
Okay, so at congregations. So I'm taking notes.
So Joshua, did you say you do youth ministry at a church?
Yeah, I'm actually like involved with just doing some of the presentations for certain Saturday meetings that we have. So
Yes. So you know what I'm going to say? Probably don't know what I'm going to say, but yes, you should make it your goal to put human trafficking awareness on your list for one of those Saturdays. Obviously, you don't have to talk about it every week at church, but this summer, that could be one of your goals, is to make that your topic. But that's awesome. That was a great idea about churches, bringing it to church attention. Go ahead, spit out some more ideas, everybody.
I'm going
I
to
definitely, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay, Amina. You can go. You can go.
I was just gonna say, I definitely think we should meet our audience where they are. So, social media is already super prevalent between TikToks and Instagram. So using that as a platform for information, it's what we've been doing with like political unrest and things like that, and how we spread the most information the fastest. So, continuing to make, especially like with like the little Instagram I don't know, I forgot what you call them, but where you there's usually like 5 of them, and then it gives like little short facts, and you like swipe over, and they've done it for like the war that's going on right now with Palestine, Israel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so like those little short blurbs that give like good facts, but that are easy to read and to conceptualize, and are a good way to spread information, and just finding ways to make like being educated and aware something that's looked at as being cool, like something that you want to do, finding a way to promote that kind of image.
Yes, you're right. And Miss Marshall, I'll go ahead and interject. What time do we need to hop off the Zoom? I don't want to hold you over because you're the host.
Oh no, we'll hop off at 8. We are right on time.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to. Okay, so Amina just talked about the social media aspect of this. So y'all know that that's not my world. That's not my lane. I don't live. So is that something that everyone who's on, excluding Joshua's grandmother, but now Kim, are you on social media? Are you still there, Kim? I know I see you sitting.
Yeah, yes, I'm still here.
Are you on social media?
I'm on the basics. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. And so I don't know anything about TikTok, Snapchat, whatever chat, whatever, what up, all that. I don't know anything about that. Those are the only 2 that I'm on.
Okay. So what we need to do then, Destiny, let me take liberty again here.
Yes.
So possibly what we should do is send out, I mean, I can send you guys, if I have all your information, I can send you some facts that you can use. Maybe one fact, no, maybe 5. Is 5 enough, Amina?
Yeah, 5 is enough.
So if I send out 5 facts, and then you all send it out on whatever platform you want to send it out on, and we need to come up with a hashtag for this group. So that's something you guys need to be thinking about, so that at the end of the facts, you could put our hashtag. Joshua, are you thinking about a hashtag? So
yeah,
yeah, we use traffic proof, the ATL. That's one that we use. So is that something that could, Joshua, you thinking about one?
Yeah, I was thinking about just a quick name like hashtag traffic fighters or some silly.
Okay, traffic fighters. Yeah. Human traffic fighters. That sounds like what was yeah, okay, so did you get that one, Destiny?
I'm putting down now. I love that. So y'all write your creative ideas down, and we'll definitely have time to go over them next month as well. So as we're absent from the Zoom, we can all be planning and bringing more to the table. So yeah. I'll be asking out some more hashtags next month. Traffic. Okay. Yeah, yes, but that. What other ideas did I have? Y'all can go ahead and spit out a couple more ideas before, like 2 more minutes, and then we'll close out really soon.
Anybody? Amina, you, Tatiana, either one of you guys have a
I actually do have an idea, and it's just basically with, I know I keep bringing up my business because that's really like my purpose, and that's why. Just to give you guys a little bit more clarification, New Night Style House is a angel corporation fostering the development in individuals and businesses. We are designed to redirect fashion and pivot the negative impact social media has on society. Now, that is our for-profit business. My goal for 9 Lives, and that is under the branch, that's our sister branch, which is our nonprofit business, is to create a space to cultivate young people. I do believe that we are the we are the gatekeepers for them. Joshua, Destiny, Amina, you know, we are the ones that are going to help them to, you know, not take a lot of this stuff that they're seeing on social media as Bible, and to also really think for themselves. And so, not like with 9 Lives, I don't have anything started. I really want to, you know, maybe even get some type of like board of directors or connected with a mentor that can help me to make this an actual nonprofit organization, because right now I have no idea. But I just know that actually, I did have a plan, and it was to teach modeling and school systems. So when I came up, I was a child model. And I think that that was one of the ways that grew my confidence as a dark-skinned young child, to know like, okay, just because someone calls me pretty on social media, and my mama too, you know, just because somebody calls me pretty doesn't mean that I should go over there and, you know, do whatever with them, you know, and just even how I carry myself. Some people don't come up to me. They know that you can't say certain things to me, or you cannot coerce me into doing something, because honey, I'm not going to do it, because I have a certain type of head on my shoulders. I exude a certain type of I'm a certain type of person, and people already know that. And that's what I want to bring into my community with young people.
Yeah.
Starting with those modeling classes. It's like I also actually know a model development group agency. And, you know, my idea was to go into these lower risk areas and help them with their walk, help them with their poise, help them with their, like I said before, style, so that because it's really, sometimes it's confidence, it's a confidence thing.
Yes.
So
we love.
Yeah, go ahead, Destiny. She knows she got me all hyped up.
Yeah, we love that passion. It's great to have you on the line, but were you about to say something, Ms. DeAndre?
Yeah, so Tatiana, what I want to do is I'm going to I think you gave me some information. And so I think there's some things that I can help you with. And I'm here for that, because a part of who I am is pouring back into young people. And I like everything that you've given us around your mission statement. And I think that I can help move you forward. So let me just say that. Okay. So we'll talk offline, so that we can help you and you can help us. And we'll be able to do some things together. I think that the fashion show piece is something that we can definitely look at for September. As we close out, because there are things that we want to bring. I mean, we want you guys to have an input. I mean, and like I told Destiny when I first talked to her, this is your thing. And so however you guys roll this out, I think it's going to make an impact in the city. So let me just say that.
Oh, you know what it is.
Yeah. So yeah, Ty joined us. Ty, is that you, or is this your daughter on the line?
It's both of us. I had a radio. Hi, how are you? I had a radio interview. So And
So
I didn't expect to go this long. Sorry about that.
that's okay, Todd. So we are ending up, and I just want to thank you guys for jumping in. Just to show you guys want to show your face. Just to Ty, you all works for the Georgia PTA, and she has her daughter who has done some work with us on the line. You guys want to introduce yourselves right quick before we exit? It's 8 o'clock, but I want to hear from you.
Okay, I'll let Aubrey introduce herself. Go ahead, Aubrey.
Oh, hi, I'm Aubrey.
Hi. Hi.
Everybody, Aubrey. Aubrey is in our PSA that's in all of our decks. She did a piece for us, and I'm so excited to have you, Aubrey. I hope that in June you can jump on and hear what we've been talking about. Aubrey, what grade are you now? What grade are you going to now?
I'm going to the 10th grade.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Awesome. We like that.
You and Joshua in the same boat. Joshua is here with us tonight, and he's going to the 12th grade.
Woohoo! Go, Joshua! Woo!
And so we have some other folk here. We've had a very good night. We've had great conversation. Ty, we're going to be doing this throughout the summer. We
Okay.
have the dates, and I'll send them out to everyone. What everyone has been challenged with by our moderator tonight, who was fabulous.
Aw.
Ty, let me just say this. Destiny is also a radio personality. She does two she does two radio shows currently. So Ty, Destiny Ty also has a radio show. So a lot of stuff going on here in common tonight.
Yes, like I said, it's no coincidence. It's divine.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So Destiny, did you have anything else that you needed to share with us before we exit for the night? I can't remember now.
Yes. Just one more thing. My friend Mackenzie is a social worker as well, Miss Kim, and she's passionate about spreading awareness. She sent me some ideas. So I want everyone to have a mental note of this so they can be thinking about creative ways to spread awareness with code words at restaurants, bars, airports, malls, lounges, clubs, sometimes in the bathroom. Like I think Joshua or someone mentioned, there are signs in the restroom that have human trafficking awareness notice, like call the hotline if you suspect someone, or if you are the victim, call the hotline. We can put that in restaurants, bars, airports, malls, lounges, and anywhere else you can think of. Make note of that. And then one more, Uber and ride sharing apps. Think about creative ways that we can get some notifications on the Uber and the ride share apps, maybe like an emergency for human trafficking. Those are just some ideas. And then I wanted to remind everyone that our plan is to have these critical conversations with the Generation Z and Millennials once a month, every last Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. So we're going to continue to update you if there are any time changes. Specifically for June 24th, it might be 7 to 8:30, but typically we're going to keep it to an hour typically. But yes, we have a guest that's going to be speaking next week as well about some awareness. So I'm just so glad that you all joined us for today. And it's always our mission and goal not to keep you way too long. So we're actually good on time. It's only 8:03. But yes, Ms. Marshall, if you had anything else, I'm finished. But yeah, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. You guys have a safe holiday. I appreciate you being in the space. I think this is going to be awesome.